Hey guys, John here from Sonic Drive Studio. I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to the channel once again. In today's video, we're checking out the Lichtlaerm Audio Ritual distortion pedal. And this is basically a very souped up clone of the old Proco Rat, but with a lot of extra features and sounds, and that makes this pedal very versatile. I love the Lichtlaerm Audio pedals in general, and I'm very excited to try this out. In fact, this is the very first time that I've ever tried a Rat style pedal in the analog world. Before we dive in, let's check out some riffs that I created with this pedal so you guys can hear how it sounds with 3 different types of sounds basically. Check it out. Alright, that was pretty cool, right? That was my Gibson Les Paul Standard 60s with the JB in the bridge. Into the Ritual and into the Wangs 2204HW, which is basically a JCM 800 clone, the 50 watt version with 2 EL34s in the power section. I used the low sensitivity input here, so it's basically a clean channel that I'm going into. And this is being fed into my RedSeven Amplification Amp Central reactive load, and then into an OwnHammer cabinet, the 412 RECT Essentials to be precise, on the high gain mic mix. So as I said, this is actually the very first time in my life that I've ever tried a real analog Rat style pedal. I've tried some in the digital realm with some modelers and stuff, but this is the first time that I've tried a real one. And I must say that I'm really enjoying this pedal. This thing can do a lot. It's very versatile and flexible. And in the core, it just has some very filthy and fat sounding distortion that I really enjoy. This video is sponsored, by the way, but as always, all thoughts and opinions are 100% my own. So when I think of a Rat, I think of the first 2 Metallica records because they used a Rat on some of that. So in the demo song, the first couple of riffs are sort of 80s thrash style, inspired by those records. And apparently Rat style pedals are also very popular for post-metal and stoner and doom, so the second portion of the song that I created is sort of inspired by that, but I don't play those styles, so it probably sounds more like grunge. And I also wanted to try some arpeggiated sort of complex chords near the end with a more articulate tone, so that's what the final section is for. I'll show you guys all those settings in a minute, but first let's check out all the features that this pedal has to offer. So a normal Proco Rat only has 3 controls: a gain control, filter control, and a volume control. And this pedal has a lot more to offer. Just as with all the other Lichtlaerm audio pedals basically, they are highly versatile and you can really dial them into your liking. Now that standard filter control that you can find on your normal Rat isn't on the front panel of this pedal, but you can open up the pedal and it has an internal pot that you can use to dial in those filter settings. Now for the demo track, I had it turned up all the way, which is how I prefer it. It sounds more bright, loud, and open that way. But let's open this pedal up and see how the control reacts when you turn it. Check it out. So that's a pretty cool control, and I kind of wish that it was available on the front panel as well. But in any case, I'm very happy that you can access it by opening the back panel. And I'll have it turned up all the way, probably always anyway, because I like that open and bright sound. Okay, so on the top row, in terms of controls, we have a bass and a treble control on the sides here, which are back sandal type EQs. And those are, of course, very flexible tools for shaping the tone even further than a normal Rat has to offer. And then in the middle over here, we have the unique and proprietary cut control that you can find on other Lichtlaerm audio pedals as well. And you can basically use this to shape the response and feel of the pedal and to tighten it up basically. So turn it all the way clockwise for a very tight low end, which is great for extended range guitars, for example, and turn it all the way counterclockwise for a fatter and more full and sort of loose tone. On the bottom row, we have a boost control, which I'll get to in a minute. And then we have the gain and level controls over here. And keep in mind that these controls have a lot of range, and the level control is very powerful with a lot of headroom as well. Below that, we have 3 switches. The range control works for the boost section, which I'll get to in a minute again. And then we have the clipping control with 3 settings and the comp control also with 3 settings. And those are also very powerful tone shaping options. The comp switch adds 2 different clipping diodes to the first gain stage. This basically adds gain and compression, and it offers you more styles of gain and saturation to explore basically. And with the clipping switch in the middle, you can choose between 3 different types of clipping. So for more flavors of drive basically. Very cool. Before we go further, let's loop the riffs from the intro demo, and then I'll tweak all the controls so you guys can hear how they react and respond. Check it out. Whoa, that's a lot of different shades of Rat, that's for sure. Very cool indeed. Now let's check out the boost function on this pedal, which is very cool indeed. And you can switch this on or off individually with the left foot switch over here. And you can even use it independently from the whole ritual distortion, so you can treat this as a separate pedal basically. And the boost control lets you add up to 35 decibels of gain, so that's a whole lot of gain. You can dial in that amount of volume with the boost control over here. And then with the range control over here, you've got 3 different types of boost. And we've got a neutral mode, which is basically your flat response boost. And you also have a mid and a treble focused boost. So different flavors of boost that you can switch on or off independently from the ritual distortion. And this boost section is basically based on the Lichtlaerm Audio Alter boost pedal. Very cool. Let's try the boost with the distortion section turned off into the Wangs, but this time with the high sensitivity input for a sort of crunchy bass tone to work from. And then we'll boost the amplifier with the boost section over here. Check it out. Very nice. So again, you can use this boost independently from the distortion section or in conjunction with the distortion section. So that's very cool. Finally, let's take a look at the settings that I used for the demo track. Now that first section, as I said before, is kind of a kill 'em all or Ride the Lightning inspired 80s thrash tone. And for that tone, I used the pedal with the cut all the way down and bass and treble out around the middle. The internal boost is turned off and comp and clip are both set to the middle positions. Let's check out the isolated guitars. The second section, so that fat sort of grungy or stonery section, has a fatter sound with a sort of fuzzy character with a lot of gain. And for this section, I raised the bass control and the treble section a touch. The boost is on with the full range setting and clipping is set to the right. Gain is set to full as well, so that's a lot of gain. Let's take a quick listen to the isolated guitars. And for the final section, I wanted a more articulate sound, which works well for those arpeggiated chords. And I dialed up the cut control to tighten up the tone a little bit. The boost is off with the clipping set to the middle and the comp switch set to the right for a different flavor. Let's go ahead and take a listen to the isolated guitars as well. Alright, so that's three pretty different tones from one single pedal. Really cool. And honestly, I feel like I've only just barely scratched the surface of what this pedal is capable of. It's a very cool pedal, and I must say that I really enjoyed playing with the Lichtlaerm Audio Ritual pedal, my very first Rat style pedal that I've ever tried. I highly recommend checking out these pedals over at lichtlaermaudio.com for more information. That's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and that you found it useful. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, as that really helps the channel out. I'd hugely appreciate that. Also drop a comment to let me know your thoughts on this pedal. And you can also follow Sonic Drive Studio on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as always. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you very soon. Cheers!